Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be building out a main rig for my rock band that I'm currently in, but I'm also going to take the time to answer some of the questions that you guys have been asking. Alright y'all, in today's video, the idea for it is really I need to build out a rig for this band that I've started. We're doing a lot of like a blend of southern rock, classic rock, and modern rock. So I need to build a dynamic rig. So I figured what better idea for a video than just showing you how I'm going to do it. I will also be running Olivia's vocals through my Tonal Master Pro. So for the gentleman who asked for vocal chain signaling, we're going to try to do it on this too. So what I'm going to do is do a digital replication of my analog gear and see how it does. So the amp that I use is a 65 Deluxe. First thing we need to do is increase our preset volume. First things first, I'm the realist. But I'm going to change up the mic placement. Let me make sure I get a good... This is called an impulse response. It's very warm. Most of the time, when I gig, I'm using a 57. All right, so let's do our cuts. I'm going to do an 8/4. I could probably leave 80. Yeah, that's a good deluxe tone right there. I think I'm going to keep the SM7. Otherwise, you can just keep going down like a... yeah, see, that's giving a lot of natural overdrive. That's pretty good. What I'm looking for is just a good clean tone. That's all I want from my deluxe. All right, I like that the SM7B is giving it a little bit more organic warmth that you would hear in the room. This amp is the only tube amp that I've ever owned, so it's really, I'm just going back to what I know. All right, I'm going to push bass up just a hair. All right, let's talk about dialing in. Okay, so it comes with knowing your guitar. So the first thing you need to know is what are the sound characteristics of the guitar I'm playing. Okay, I'm playing a Heritage H150, so I'm playing a Les Paul. And if you're unfamiliar, this guitar is actually made at the old Gibson factory. Well, I won't give a history lesson, but I could. I am a big Les Paul guy. Les Pauls and Telecasters are just my jam. You're going to see a lot of Tellies and a lot of Les Pauls. So I'm playing a Les Paul. Les Pauls are warm guitars. Warm means that the bass is going to be pushed higher than, say, like a Telecaster, where it's kind of trebly and twangy, which is a little bit more treble. So when I'm dialing in my amp, that tells me my treble should be a little bit higher, and my bass should be pulled back a bit. And don't overthink it. That sounds good. So I'll keep that there. We're going to increase the amp level just a hair. All right, so on a deluxe reverb, in like the one that's behind me, the way that you get really beautiful, warm sounds, hit it with a push. I use the exotic pedal. Was it EP Boost? Here it is with it off. Yeah, that's going to be my always on pedal. All right, I like that for a good clean bass. Now, here's the design principle that I'm following. Get a good clean sound, put pedals in front of it. That's how I have liked to play all of my rigs up until this point that I've gotten into modeling and have the option for high gain amps. But I'm gonna put pedals in front of it. So the pedals that I'm thinking I'm gonna use are definitely an Overdrive, definitely a Distortion. But first things first, let's get our Distortion pedal. So go to Effects. I've been using the Rodent, so we're gonna try something different. Let's try this Maximus Drive. All right, just so we can learn, what my ear hears is this killed all treble instantly. that sounds good. Is there anything else that I should add? Maybe a little bit of gain? Yeah, I think I'm going to keep that. That sounds good. Oh, what other option? But wait, there's more. Oh, my God. Look at this. There's so much. Boost on. Yeah. Why not? We can, so we'll do it. Hell yeah. That's rock and roll right there. Maximus Drive is Maximus rock and roll. All right. I'm having too much fun with this. That's what the Tollmaster Pro does for you. It just enables you to have too much fun. Fender, sponsor me. Yo, we should make that happen, though. Y'all should put me on Fender's radar. I don't know how we do it, so you should comment below if you have an idea of how I can get picked up by Fender. All right, so leave me a comment. Let me know how I can get on Fender's radar, and I appreciate you. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an overdrive, because I do play some country songs. They're really southern rock songs. I hate saying country, because when I say country, I hear, that ain't my truck. But that ain't what we're doing. All right, what I want is more treble, Les Paul. Let's increase the gain just a bit. That's done. that's exactly. That sounds like the dang recording. That sounds good. All right, let's talk about pedal order, because this is something that's people like to debate a lot in the guitar community. I like to put my overdrives before my distortion, and let me show you why. It's going to be really noisy, but the tone's going to be glorious. So that's distortion. That's overdrive in front of distortion. Now, if we switch the order, I don't care for how that sounds, but I like the way that the overdrive is really pushing my distortion pedal. Where you would want to do that, and honestly, it's kind of overkill in this setup because I'm already running a boost, but I used to do this with my analog gear. I prefer the way that an overdriven distortion pedal sounds over a distorted overdriven pedal. Area where you would want to consider running both is during a solo, because it'll give you a boost, pun intended, but it'll boost your guitar signal where you don't have to work as hard to do some things. You don't have to play as hard or dig in as much, and it'll just make your sound just sound like, oh, dang. You'll really cut in a mix. So I do like to run both, and sometimes I will run it. Those will be my two pedals. So I'll do the overdrive for. Honestly, I might do overdrive for most of the show. We have rehearsal this Sunday, so I'll see what really fits with what the other guitarist is doing. I'm playing some clean stuff, and I think the clean stuff has a little bit of chorus in it. So let's also do a chorus. Chorus is going to be under modulation, so we'll go to effects, modulation. Yeah, we'll do. Ooh, let's hear all the differences we have. Yeah, I like the way this JC chorus sounds. Ooh, where do I want this? Definitely after Distortion and Overdrive. That's probably all that I need for this rig. Guys, don't make your rig so complicated. You don't want to be out there tap dancing when you're playing live. Remember, I know that people hate hearing this, but tone is here. This is good. It'll only amplify what you're doing. But if you're here, I find that my favorite guitar players and the ones who sound the best to my ear are doing bare minimum. Like, they don't have a big board, you know? I just watched the Malmsteen interview. The dude had like 4 pedals. That's it. That's all you need. What I'm going to do now is someone asked me to do a vocal chain, so I'll just incorporate that. It might sound a little weird because I typically run my vocals through my Tone Master Pro into Logic Pro, and then I'll run some effects that I have for YouTube. If you want to do a vocal chain in your current setup, let me just go back so you can see this. You go into preset settings, signal path type, instrument, and mic line. So now I have vocals. Now here's the thing. I'll actually use this in a band setting because it's not going to be for my vocals, but it'll be for our singers. So that way it's less gear we have to carry. So for what we're going to do is we're going to go to amp heads. And if you go all the way down, you have 2 different settings. You have a studio preamp and you have a 2 preamp. For her, I'm probably going to use a 2 preamp. And I guess I'll explain the difference. So the studio preamp, this is really good for bass. And it's good for vocals. It's just going to be crystal clear. Whereas the 2 preamp is going to add a little bit of warmth to the vocal. One thing you want to do is get your blend right. So yeah, now you're getting double vocal right now. So I'm going to show you just so you can hear it. Then I'm going to pull it back so you don't hear double vocal. But make sure that is pulled up. And you want to blend it with your guitar signal. And again, the best way to do it is just to play both at the same time, record yourself, and then go back and listen. But gain is how much is coming from the microphone. That's how you can think of it. So if you're on stage and you're starting to hear, squilling, pull your gain back on here immediately. It'll help you out. For vocals, I can't really dial this in right now because she's not here. But I know her voice. I'll probably keep this here, and then I'll probably give her boost her bass just a little bit, just to give her kind of like a blanket to sit on. So that when you're working with singers, and I've done this in a live sound. I used to work a live sound at Tin Roof. If you give them treble overload, now they feel like, oh my God, my voice is thin. But on the flip side, if you give them all bass, you're like, oh God, this is... So you got to find that good common ground, and every vocalist is different. Dial it into the individual, and if it's you got to learn your voice. The other thing you can do to make a vocalist feel more confident behind the microphone is give them reverb. Plate. I'm a plate. Plate. Yeah, way too much. So we'll pull it back in the mix. Pull back the decay. I don't know what diffuse does. Low tone. Let's boost that. All right. That's a good starting place for her, at least. Wow. You hear? I don't know if you can hear that. There's a weird... I think it's this. Pull that back. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a vocalist. Hold on, we'll give it the old test. Yeah, it works for me, so there we go. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Let me pull this out so you don't hear double mic. I guess I'll report back on what she likes as a vocalist. Every vocalist is so different, man, so it's so hard to show you, like, yeah, this is a really good rig. But what I will show you, we already have this saved minus this. If you come into your preset, this one is done really well, so I might just copy this into my rig. And if you're curious, that is preset 130 on the Tone Master Pro. I'm a kid with this thing. Anyways, I hope that helped. Oh, we got to do song list. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. For the gent who asked, we're going to call this, I don't have a band name yet, Rock Band Show. And I'll change it whenever. Oh yeah, we don't have any songs. So what we're going to do, okay, so when you're using the songs preset, you can have, the way you need to think about it is each song is kind of like a scene if you're coming from like the Helix. So you can have one song and each song can have a bunch of different presets. I won't use this way because I am the type, I'm really boring when it comes to my tone. I really like to have one tone and stick with it and change if I need to. That's just my personal preference. You could be someone who likes to just jump around and have 80 different sounds for one song, and that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. So I'm going to create this how I would, but the fundamentals that I'm going to show here, you can use for whatever. So I'm going to call this main show. Okay. Now, inside of main show, I now have 6 different presets I can program. So my presets I'm going to have are going to be rock. Yep, we'll keep it blue. I'm going to have my country. We'll make this one, oh, I don't want a label on it. Okay, well, I guess they're all blue. And then, lastly, I'm going to do acoustic. Now that I've got my songs done, look, you can see it here, main show. Now we're going to go into set list. So this is my rock band set list. What I need to do, songs in set list, let's add main show. So now you can see when I'm in this view, only these rigs are available for me. So now I can switch over to rock. I can switch to country. So let's talk about the benefit of doing something like this. One, you can hit a preset and you can get into your stomp mode, so I can use this just as I would if I were over here. You know, the difference is like, say you're using a bunch of different presets. Like maybe I'm using Chicken Pickin', which is up here in the 13s, I think, 14. But I'm also going to use the Van Halen 2 channel. And then I'm going to jump down and I'm going to use Slipstream for some crazy stuff. And then I'm going to use 130 for acoustic vocals. If you're just using those presets and you're just trying to do it from the regular format, you're going to have to go up and down in the banks and finding them. Another option that I've been doing lately is setting up favorites and going in between my favorites to get to these presets. But the third option is what I just showed you. You can set up a song, and then you can set up a set list with all your different songs on there, and it'll show you it. So there's so many different workflows with the Tonemaster Pro. It's all about finding the one that works for you. For me, I personally don't use this, but I did see a comment of someone asking me to talk about it. So I hope this at least helps. I haven't found a need for this yet, but if you are using it, please let me know how and what your workflow is like. So leave me a comment below. All right, well, that's going to conclude today's video. I hope this helped. I hope you got some value from it. You guys know me at this point. I'm a big fan of Attitude of Gratitude, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out, and hopefully you learned something. If you wouldn't mind, leave me a comment. Let me know what you enjoyed about the video, but also let me know 2 things you're grateful for in life. Listen, we got to spread some joy and positivity in this world. Thank you for those who jumped over to Patreon. We've grown by 4 in the last month, so that's just incredible. Thank you so much. If you're interested in the Patreon, you can see right here a list of all the different content that I have published, and there's some more coming out too, and I'm getting ready to launch some video lessons. So if that is of interest of you, consider checking it out. It's $5 a month, and there's a ton of content over there. Get ready to see a lot more band content about what we're doing, how we're doing, and following our progress. And as always, just thank you so much. If there's anything I can do to help you out with the Tonemaster Pro, leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you. And with that, peace!